What's going on, everybody? Jeff Holiday here, and today we're going to make a quick little video because something really fascinating happened just the other day. Check this out.
I agree with you, man. Something's wrong with that whole system.
Yeah.
And, and it's the doctors you find. Remember I said I want to do small doses. Small doses. When you feed a baby, Bobby, a vaccination that has like 38 different vaccines, and it looks like it's meant for a horse, not a 10-pound or 20-pound baby. It looks like you should be giving a horse this. And do you ever see the size of it, right? It's just massive. And then you see the baby all of a sudden starting to change radically. I've seen it too many times. And then you hear that it doesn't have an impact, right? But you and I talked about that a long time ago. And anyway, I would love you to do stuff. And I think it'll be so good for you and so big for you. And we're going to win. We're going to win. We're way ahead of the guy.
Now that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on the phone with former failed President Donald Trump right after he got shot. And Trump is praising him about vaccines and his work about vaccines and saying that we're going to win. We're going to win. Talking like he and RFK are on the same team. Now, that's a little weird, isn't it? Isn't that a little weird? Isn't that a little strange to you?
And we're going to win.
First and foremost, the idea that two presidential candidates are somehow colluding together to try and secure some sort of nomination, that sounds like a bit unconstitutional. You know what I mean? But also, what's fascinating about this is Trump has been an anti-vaxxer for a very long time, but he's been stuck in a very interesting political position because he has to appear moderate in some of these regards for people who still believe in vaccine safety. Science, truth, data, all that, all that good stuff. So he has tried to tone it down, tested the waters here and there a little bit, especially during like presidential debates back in 2015, 2016. And we can see how he has dove more further into it, especially when he started trying to find alternatives to treating COVID. Keep in mind, Trump is the guy who should get the credit for Operation Warp Speed and helping get the COVID vaccine out as quick as possible. But he doesn't want you to remember that. At least he doesn't want the people who are anti-vax to remember that. That hurts his brand, because his brand is now anti-vaccine has nothing to do necessarily with the safety, although that is like where a lot of it comes from. It's now about politics. It's a policy position. True. 100% true. And it's fascinating because politicians are constantly making policy decisions that ultimately end up hurting, harming, and killing people. Notably, our foreign policy, our lack of available healthcare, especially for the older, the infirm, the numerous different policy positions on necessarily crime prevention, et cetera, et cetera. Don't even get me started on how unsafe prisons are and how often prisoners needlessly die, which happens a lot here because we also have more people incarcerated than anywhere else in the world. But those are videos for other days. Stories for other days, my beloveds. So, with all of this in mind, we have to understand that there is a two-pronged attack being waged against vaccine and vaccine safety, and a two-pronged attack at trying to secure a presidential appointment with Trump by utilizing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That's the whole point has been. That's what it's always been. For people who are kind of up on the up, we all kind of knew this, but you got to be able to prove it. You can know something because you're well informed. You can infer that there is some of these things going on, right? But to make that very declarative statement, you need the proof. And now we have the proof.
I would love you to do stuff. And I think it'll be so good for you and so big for you. And we're going to win. We're going to win. We're way ahead of the guy.
Now, obviously, vaccines are safe and they are effective. There are problems with the COVID vaccine, but that's largely because COVID has now become endemic in our society, kind of like the flu. It will always modify, it will always change. We're going to be struggling to try and find any way to battle against it. It's unfortunate. It's the reality of the situation. can't really change that with well wishes or politics. You can with science and funding, but, you know, trying to get money for actual advances in the human species is trying to get blood from a stone when it comes to politicians, and that's just, you know, the history of our country. But it is interesting, and it is worth pointing out that these people are crazy. That they're crazy, and not only are they ill-informed and anti-science and anti-biomedical research and anti-basically all the advances we've been making forever, you know, like that is worth pointing out for sure. But they are also like evil empire colluding with each other to try and push this further. And if you need evidence of how much they don't care, how much they're willing to sacrifice anybody, I really encourage people to go and watch my older video on RFK Jr. and how he, through his actions, got over 80 children killed in that island country because he pushed people not to vaccinate, and measles came in and did what measles do. So I do think this is something people really need to be aware of. And if you are somebody who believes in free and fair elections and democracy, you should be pretty pissed off about this idea that there is open and overt collusion. Like, we should all be pretty damn angry right now. I know I am. Anyway, that's it for today. Just a quick little video. This is pretty much a big bombshell that's been dropped as far as politics, but it does really have a lot to do with things that I do talk about on this channel. If you're still on the fence about vaccine safety, I have so many videos, so many of them. Go watch my multi-series on the Vax documentary. It's a really good resource to be able to tap into. So, from my family to yours, I hope you're well. I hope they're well. Take care of yourselves and each other. See you next time. Bye.